See it on my face, I made up my mind. Not another day, you're on borrowed time. Let me get away, yeah I'm running, yeah I'm running. So love me or leave me, I'm standing alone. Can't shake a feeling that lives in my bones. Lie to me, tell me you wish that you could, but nothing you gave me is worth what you took. 'Cause baby when I'm gone for good. Feel it rising up, then I push it down. Saying you're in love, I could go without. Let me get away, it's over now, it's over now. So love me or leave me, I'm standing alone. Can't shake a feeling that lives in my bones. Lie to me, tell me you wish that you could, but nothing you gave me is worth what you took. Walk away, don't look. Baby, when I'm gone for good.
Ma ci pensi? In Italia una donna su 3 è vittima di violenza.
Un dato assurdo. Se ne sentono troppe di storie.
Eh sì, all'inizio magari sembrano cose piccole.
Controllare il telefono, come ti vesti.
Con chi esci.
Questo non è amore. Sono segnali preoccupanti.
Eyes and face shut tight for my sleepless nights. Feel it closing in. Don't hold it back, it's time. Wrong in my right mind. Surely I'm convinced. Oh, we've been here before. Armor soul, embers lit up my nose. Half dead and asleep, nightmares start to dreams. Will you be ready when the darkness comes?
Welcome everybody, I'm Chris Romano and here we are for the round 3 of the Formula Racing League. Apologies for being slightly late, but I was honestly lagging extremely hard, and I just discovered it was Steam updating once human for 9 gigabytes. What is the new update? Anyway, here I am and here they are. These are going to be the 29 drivers into the race. Silver Pro class as always into the same lobby. We are in the Autodromo Nazionale of Monza, which is, well, quite famous for a lot of things, even one of which is to held in the Formula 1 calendar the fastest average speed on a race lap. Not the fastest as in time, that is still in Austria's hands, terms. I don't really know how to make a humanization of the track. But anyway, Monza is and will always be one of the quickest in terms of speed tracks that are in the world. Fast surface, so they will not put together the best optimal lap times. But either way, they have 22 minutes of time as of now to set their quickest scores into the leaderboard. It's a very easy track, this one here. You have the first chicane, the second chicane, l'Esmo 1, l'Esmo 2, the Ascari, and then La Parabolica. And yes, they have different names now because there is the Alboreto and etc. It will remain the Parabolica. It really won't change. I will remain by my idea. Either way, everybody will have a good time here. It was a good 2 weeks. I wasn't doing comms, so I hope I'm not really that rusty. And I hope you will have a good time, even because we are in the Temple of Speed with the old chicane, which I suspect will be changed for the upcoming Assetto Corsa Evo, because these are very likely the last races that we will see on this game, since the new game will come out in roughly February, and after then it's going to be I wouldn't say unknown. I think we all know that ACC will die quite quickly. But anyway, Corbin for now set the quickest lap time in the number 72 Mustang with a 47.692, 1.5 times away from Castellacci in the 789, and Karner sets himself in second in a 107, slightly more than 1/10 away. Silver class being composed by 14 drivers, as the remaining 15 are Pro class drivers. Corbin for now remains on top, as I think Deschong put himself in 6th place. No improvement from the Mustang driver, there is an improvement from the Ferrari crew, and also from Conway in the number 137 BMW, not Toyota. Although it's M. Conway, it's Mark Conway, not Mike Conway. Now 4.5 times quicker than himself, so it's likely to see him make an improvement. But more importantly, Carnell just gained an eternity in Les Motor, because he is now 3 times better than himself, so everybody is obviously improving. For now Castellacci into the Parabolica, 6 times 8 on his own lap time, as Covering remains on the 47.6, Castellacci goes in the 47.2, as Karner is going across the backstretch. With a time very likely close to pole lap, but not quite into that region, since he will go in second place with a 47.4, 10.5 away. Ascorbi now is definitely having more fun in his car. Currently putting half a second on the scheme, which would obviously put him in first. There's also Conway still improving 4 times, that will put him in fourth. He is currently sixth. Ascorving puts his Mustang in the top of the leaderboard, with Cassitrash, Karner and Conway following in 4th place. Although Karner is either... Okay, yes, he is definitely using the McLaren ahead as a booster, because he will put himself in pole by a huge chunk, 3 times better than the next car, and he was 2 times away. That was thanks to Bogomas in the 111. No, wait, apologies. It was Davidson. It was Davidson in the 123 McLaren, as Pashtaluk is now in 5th place with a 47.7. As we are getting closer and closer to the swap time with the Pro Class. So now Conway in the BMW with the Volcanos Motorsport livery. Volcanos which also switched to Aston Martin, which still makes no sense in my head. Conway has been going for improvement since the very start, and he's now in third place. The 1:37.370, those are the numbers on the temps page. 1/10 behind Coping, and he could aim very well for the top of the leaderboard, but also Porsche could have a chance for the top spots in the silver class. So apparently there are two major groups, one from Karner to Porsche if he completes the lap, which seems very likely, and one from Bogomas to essentially Istomin. As Porsche puts himself in third, so Nakasita Rush was in pole no less than 7 minutes ago, and he's now in 5th place, and for now he only has one shot to improve himself, and I don't think he can, since this track is, well, very demanding on the heat of the tires, and in a single lap you can't really make much of it. So this is likely the last lap for some drivers, and if it is the first, well, it's not going to be a very rewarding lap. Corbin is still trying, but he needs 2 temps, and he is for now 200ths. 1 order of magnitude below what is needed to do. With 13 minutes to go overall, but it's going to be a 1 minute to go for everybody in the silver class. Corbin doesn't set an improvement, and he will also go into the pit, so this will be the best possible for Corbin. Second place, Karner sits in the top spot, and the same goes to Conway in 4th. So maybe, just maybe, Porsche has a chance. He can complete this lap and the lap after. There's still a big question mark. Curtin here, 4 temps. That will put him in 6th, but way, way too far from the lead group, composed by the top 5. He's also battling in 13th at the moment. These two are one after the other. And the Aston that follows is the number 97, not on a valid lap, and so Rice will remain in 11th. I think it's very likely that the grid will, at least for the top 5, it will remain like this. Curtin goes in 6th place, in the middle of the two groups, as Besselink remains in 12th place, and Istomin is now in 12th place in the Lexus, in the last possible lap that the 5 driver could have done. So now the Pro Class is into the racetrack with these good chunk of cars on the racetrack trying to hit the tires as much as possible. There is also a Bentley, number 48, and I'm seeing 3 Mustangs, apologies, a Ferrari, 2, 3, 4 Ferraris, there is a Lambo, or rather 2, an Audi, which is always good to be seen. Although with the latest, let's say, event that happened in real life, the Audi fan base, which was also composed by me, is not really, well, gripping well with reality, and therefore also in the game not many people choose the Audi. But anyway, we will go with, I think we can go with, I think we'll go with Lano Mesa, number 89, into the first chicane. Saranno a metà set a first, although very slow lap. Nopek is now in first, with Keenan following 2 times away, but obviously the first lap is not really the most important, although a very good one for many of the drivers. But Karner, for example, is still in third place overall. So I think it's better to wait to give any effective declaration on the starting grid. But anyway, Ek for now is very quick on his lap, although it will not be enough for Paul with his rhythm. He'll unfortunately will not improve the lap time because of an off track in one of the lessons. The same goes to Nopek, who just went too wide on Ascari. So that's going to be avoided lap. But Keenan is very close to make it on pole. He is 2 times away from Nopek at the moment. This could put him in first. As Dyer, out of nowhere, put this magnificent Mustang, to be fair, in first place, as Ek is now in second, and Keenan remains in fourth behind Nopek. So everything changed in a matter of seconds, with, well, the Mustang being the, oh, Alfano, for Gladius competition, is now in second. 22 milliseconds away from Dyer. Obviously, the Mustang being quick is not really a news. I think it was like expected at the very least. But the Ferrari is also one of those cars that, although it's very slow on acceleration, it's very quick on a straight line. And Alfano just put it there in second, but he's still improving and he can make it one more up ahead. But although Dyer is still here with that, honestly, I'm loving this livery. Mainly because it has my favorite colors, lime, white and black. So I'm automatically in love with this livery. I'm not really hiding the fact. The number 14 here for Zero Point Racing is still improving. And this could become a 45, which is mad. Let's say 45 is mad. Although for my standard everything is mad because I think the only track where I'm really useless is Monza, which is ironic considering I'm Italian. But anyway, Dyer made the improvement. He is now in first, but with a 2 times gap to Alfano, and Nopek is now back in third at the very least. Even for him, 2 times and still a bit more. I saw a car jumping. It was Vella in 6th for the other Gladius competition car. With his teammate in 2nd, he's now in 7th since, I think Jordan, yes it was Jordan in the Bentley that went in 6th. And Dyer is still not over with it, he's still improving. Some pro drivers having major difficulties, Zagdal still without a lap time. Renano Mesa in pretty much last place. Olson still in 20th. And a good chunk of drivers still behind the top 5. The top 4, apologies, in... Oh yeah, it was the top 5 in silver class. So it's not really getting... well, any good there for some pro drivers. As Nopek here, 2 times away from pole, as I mentioned earlier. But the British car, which was once being developed and sincerely managed by M Sport, which is now in VRC, with another car which is really well built, TM, is now in third, but he's improving and he's nearly 4 times better than himself, although I think the Honda in front is really helping the way. At the same time, he's not. I think being in Parabolica where it was wasn't really an improvement. He manages to make it in pole by 20 milliseconds, so it was closer. The Honda was, well, not really in the best possible position at the very exit of Parabolica. I think somewhere between Alpha 10 and a 10 has been lost in the Parabolica, but he is in pole, and well, at that point nothing really matters. Kirchhoff here in 666 in the Rover Racing livery, aiming for an improvement. He is going to set the car in 11th from 17th. The car which is improving is 966 in 18th place, but Olson just started his lap. Oliver Olson, the Swedish driver, in 18th for now, just in front of Mikos, as the Ukrainian is in 19th, and Zakdal is still trying in 31st without a single valid lap time the whole duration of the qualifying session. So unless he just goes extremely wide here in Parabolica, which he's definitely not doing, just to be safe, this is going to be a valid lap time. It's going to be a 10th overall, but at the very least he is on the grid. A last attempt too, so now it's all or nothing for every driver, since practically everyone went into the pits for a last second attempt. But as I said earlier, you don't really have that much time to heat your tires up, so there is a sort of limit to what they can do. I'm keeping the visual on Zakdal, since likely he's the most interesting one to see where it ends. I'm looking at the race control, and the only car which is improving, and it's an overstatement, is Alfano, because the improvement is a single digit, so, and it's not the seconds, nor the tenths, not the hundredth. I think the main objective is to get into the top 5. Ek goes into the pit, so best possible is going to be 4th for the 51 Mustang. The 331 goes across the finish line to set the last possible lap time. 6th place, 5 times away from pole. As Hill put his McLaren in 7th. Garby in 11th finished his qualifying session. Keenan in 5th does the same. And I think maybe Senatore can still improve. Realistically, it's the only car that realistically is going to improve, so we will follow Senatore in the 112 Lamborghini. The neighboring Lamborghini just went in 6th, so Senatore can do 6th place, since the car is the same, but I think he may be able to do even more than that. As the Italian in the CrowdStrike livery goes across the line to set a 7th, so just barely behind Zagdal, on par with the performance of the car. There's a few other cars remain, but that's about it for qualifying session in the Italian racetrack. And I just need this for once. Should be already set up. No, please. And this is the thing that I was hoping for, but likely no one was hoping for on the grid. It's raining, and it will stop too in, well, between 10 and 30 minutes it will stop. So it's going to be quite essential to, wait, just want to check if I did, aha, I knew it. Way better. So as I was saying, it's very likely that everybody will start on wet tires and make the change as soon as possible on the dry tires. To get on with it and take away the mandatory pit stop. But anyway, on the starting grid is going to be Novak and Dyer in 1st and 2nd in this beautiful lime livery. Then Alfan in relative competition, then Eck alongside with Keenan behind the other Mustang. Zakdal in 6th with Senatore in 7th, Hill in 8th, and Jordan in 9th with Vella to complete the top 10 in this starting grid. Then we've got pole leader in silver, Karner with Garby alongside. Kirchhoff is in 13th with the Audi driver in 14th, Nico Wellman. Corving follows in 15th, Pochtaruk in 16th, and Conway in 17th with Kasitrash in the Ferrari 789 in the 18th place. Relano Mesa and Olson follow with Mikos and Curtin in 22nd, Bokomas, then Davidson, Brown, Reis, Deschong, Istomin, Besselink, Kuzmenko and Mashkovsky complete the starting grid for this evening in these rainy conditions. So it will be a bit of a chess game to get into the pits as late as possible, or rather the most optimal moment. As Curtin made a mistake and he will start from the pits, so he will go from 22nd to 31st. the start of the race. It's going to be an easy track guide this time, since Monza is one of the easiest tracks to remember around the entire world. First chicane, first gear, very slow, and then it's on to Grande 4, then the second chicane. As this place is one of the most interesting overtaking spots. Second chicane rather than the first one, since it's way easier to make a mistake on the first chicane rather than the second. You usually brake around here on the orange wall, and some cars are able to just jump the curb here on the inside, some can't, and then it's onto l'Esmo 1 and 2. Yes, I will very likely switch between Italian and English very quickly and very often. Even here you take the orange wall on the right as a sort of braking point. You use the curb on the outside if you're on dry, and then just before the 50, just before after, okay, I can't think. Just before the apex, so after the 50-meter mark, I made it. Very good at speaking. There is your braking point. Into the second gear or third, depending on the car. Then another straight line, which will put you into Ascari and under this bridge. Bridge which has on top of it the ancient oval, which hasn't been used since I think the 60s. And then into Ascari, which is the old Ascari, not the newest one, which is boring, by the way. You can use the curb on inside, but it's not really advised. It's way better to just use the gravel on the outside, because the track limits here are very forgiving. Then the back stretch to then go into the final turn, which is the Parabolica, or Curva Michele Alboreto, one of the two. The official name is Michele Alboreto. I will keep calling it the Parabolica because that's the real name of the turn in folklore and in general consensus and everything. But anyway, 31 drivers, or rather 30 on the grid and 1 in the pit lane in a damp circuit with the rain coming to an end in I think around 50 minutes, maybe 20, but one mandatory pit stop is on the horizon for these drivers. But either way, here we are for the start of the round number 3 of the Formula Racing League Master, and here we are for the start of the race with a very good start by the Ferrari driver in the 113, already going for an overtake on the Mustang. I saw Kirchhoff going into the pits to change the tires, so possibly a mistake on the start of the race for the BMW driver, as the Ferrari goes on the inside to take the second place from the Mustang. Oh, late on the brakes and very hard on the contacts, but I think the Mustang still has it on exit and on traction. As you can see, the Ferrari on its acceleration makes some troubles compared to the Mustang, which is just great on it, and that's going to be Dyer still in second place with Alfano, which will have to settle for third place before getting tapped from behind from a Mustang. But I think Alfano just took the place in a bit of old-fashioned way, and it's 3 wide for a brief moment between Keenan and Eck and Zakdal, but it's going to be Keenan ahead of the Mustang, but I think Alfano has to give the place back to Dyer. Although with this reform I don't think it will ever happen. But yeah, not really clean racing from the Italian driver there. And it's still the fight between Mustangs here, with Keenan keeping the inside and Ekon outside, with then Zagdal following, and it's side by side between the McLaren of Hill and Jordan, who nearly goes on the gravel but keeps the place in front of the Porsche. There was a Ferrari going sideways, it was Renato Mesa nearly pitching on the gravel. But anyway, everything seems smooth here. Lopez is still first, Alfano still second with an asterisk, Dyer still following and flashing the lights, Keenan still in fourth. And behind there is a side-by-side between Conway, Race. Oh, there is a double side-by-side with Conway and Race in Aston Martin taking the place, and behind it's Senatore overtaking Mikos in the 909 Ferrari. But I think there is still a chance for the Beamer to make it from the outside, which becomes the inside, but ew, there is a bit too much faith on the brakes, and it's free wide on exit with a Ferrari 909 of Mikos going from 17th to 16th here on the outside, but the BMW keeps it inside and likely keeps the position for themselves. Oh, there is still some contact between the two, and Conway keeps the 16th place for now, but Mikos is still there on the inside, but manages to break it. Oh wait, there was a car going extremely fast. It was the number 5 hitting Senatore in the 112 and going for an incident. We can see it from here, completely missing the braking point, missing one Ferrari, going for the other, and that's a bullying action for Easton in number 5. Back ahead it's Vella getting overtaken by multiple cars. I think there was a contact between Vella and someone else, as Velman makes the overtake. Or rather, yes, Velman makes the overtake on Karner for 12th place as Vella. But this happened to the number... This is the number 19 with the number 555. So we can have a better look from here. Oh, it was actually Hill going for the inside a bit late and putting Vella nearly on the gravel and letting it lose several positions. Now in 11th Vella. It was 7th early on, as Dyer made it back in second, so I think Alfano effectively chose to give back the place. As Deschong and Kuzmenko are switching places, with number 15 just going in front of the 707 Ferrari. It was for 24th place. The Ferrari is still targeting an overtake, and in fact it happens there. On the inside it goes, and that's position done for the Ferrari driver. Meanwhile Vella here battling with Relano Mesa. It's going to be a possible overtake into the second chicane. He will just remain behind and aim for a better moment to make a move, although it's going to be Relano Mesa who makes a move on the McLaren, which is actually a blue flagged car. Apologies, I thought it was a Porsche look for a brief moment. Oh, the McLaren goes extremely wide into the gravel, into the wall. I think there was a contact with another car. I'm quite sure there was a contact with another car. Or maybe not, because the race control is not showing anything, so maybe there wasn't any contact. Anyway, here Jordan in the Bentley is trying to take the place from Hill in 7th, but the 555 remains in 7th, and Jordan keeps following the Subaru-themed McLaren. For now, Hill remains in 7th, keeping a second of gap to Zagdal in sort of no man's land, since he's in the middle between Eck and Hill, but quite gapped from each other. As the Bentley now goes for the move into turn 1, And it's going to be some contact between the McLaren and the Bentley. It's going to be still side by side, nearly pushing the Bentley into the gravel, and that's just giving the chance for the Porsche driver, number 41, into the lead of his class to get into 8th place, although Porsche is into the outside, more wetter surface, and so this means that an overtake becomes very difficult for silver class leader. And for now remains in 9th in front of Relano Mesa, and everybody else. There is an entire train going from 7th up until 15th. There's a whole train going on with all the cars extremely close together. You can see here from the McLaren to the Aston ending the train. I'm also looking in front if anything changes, but for now it still is stationary, although we have Alfano getting pressurized by 2 Fords. Snopek sets the quickest race lap. Oh, there is a car off. It's the number 72. As Carving is... Oh, he just lost the rear completely. And... stopped in the middle of the racetrack. Azek. Obviously, the second I just look away, everything happens. Alfano lost the place on Eck and Keenan. Into turn 1, and now both the Ford Mustangs are in front of Alfano, as Jordan is still side by side with the McLaren. But nothing happens there. Meanwhile, here is the battle between Vella and Veldman, with the Audi on the outside, still trying to pressurize the Ferrari number 15. As the Italian will remain where it is in 11th place, and just in front is Relano Mesa trying to get a position down on Porsche, and also the Bentley trying to go for inside onto the McLaren. It will remain like this here. It's the opposite way around for Relano Mesa, who makes the overtake on Porsche, now in 10th place, and then behind Vella is still trying to defend hard against Veldman in the Audi R8 Evo 2 outside of Ascari. As Jordan is now going on outside. Off hill. I think that Bentley will have the position for himself. Still not over. I think it's still very close between the two, if in fact it is. Here you can see Jordan and Hill still side by side. Although there is another side by side here with Keenan defending against Alfano. Alfano remains in 5th place, and Keenan remains in front of the Ferrari, and same goes for the Bentley, just in front of McLaren number 555. As Veldman still follows number 19. While his teammate, oh, you can see there, is Porsche still putting pressure on Relano Mesa in 9th, as the Porsche goes into the inside, and that's Porsche into the smooth 2. Going slightly wide on exit, just giving the place, well, the space rather, for an attack. But here goes Keenan defending hard against the Ferrari driver, as here Vella, Alfano's teammate, makes the overtake on Porsche who lost the place on the Italian, and I think the Audi will be the next online. But never mind, because maybe, just maybe, Kanner actually goes for the move. Also, Vella goes for the move. Everything is going on way too quickly. As Alfano here, still battling for position number 4 with Keenan. Oh, nail contact between the two. As nothing really happens. And while we are at it, we can see back what happened to Alfano as to why he lost both places so rapidly. So you can see it was a 2x2 with Eck closing the door as quickly as possible, and it was just Keenan having a great exit from the first chicane. So this is what happened. I apologize if I just showed live the final part, but that was the reason of the double overtake, which put Alfano in 5th place, as this live was the overtake of Bellman into Porsche, which is now in 12th place, as the Porsche driver lost all the places he had, the buffer places, to his opponent in the 107, with Karner now following Porsche, after losing pole at the start of the race. Back in front it is Benjamin Eck against Brogan Dyer. Side by side into turn 1, this could happen here. The Mustang defends well against the other Mustang. It's 2-3-4 Mustang with a single Bentley up in front and Jordan in 7th. Well, I don't think it's over. Dyer still defends. Eck has a lot of pace, but the rain is starting to get in dimmer. Starting to get dimmer. I wouldn't say it's getting dimmer, but I forgot how English was. I apologize. Starting to get dimmer, and I think in roughly, to be fair, I think in seconds, looking at the sky, the rain will stop, and that will bring the huge question mark when to pit. Instantly, you wait a lap, 2, maybe even 3. Depends on sensations. In the meantime, Ranavesa still defends against Vella, who is now in 10th, or maybe not, as there is a switchback, a very good one in Ascari, but there isn't the space nor the grip, and ironically, it's just giving Bellman the chance to make a position for themselves against the Ferrari. Though I don't think it will happen. Although there is a side-by-side and the battle for the lead in silver class. And it's going to be from the outside. Karner takes the place on Porsche. As to the battle for second, it's still Eck against Dyer, but this time Eck is inside and takes the place on Dyer for a brief second. As Dyer takes back the place on the Swedish driver. Meanwhile, Zagdal makes the overtake on Jordan for 6th place. And Porsche made the call to jump into the pits. A bit of a surprise, to be fair, since it's, well, still raining. A bit too early. Definitely way too early. Scanner went extremely wide here. And here there is a side-by-side between the Audi driver and the Ferrari of Vella. Oh, there is a little bit of contact between the Ferrari number 89, apologies, and the Audi number 29. And Vella is now in 11th place. So Bellman makes the place into the top 10. As Lando Mesa still defends at the best of his abilities against Velman now, as the Audi driver in the rain is now getting attacked by Vella, as the number 19 had quite an unpleasant race so far. From the outside, it's already difficult in the dry. I can't imagine in the wet doing it. Maybe this time is a possible overtake. Meanwhile, Jordan goes from the outside, loses the rear, cuts the chicane, and I think it's going to be back with Zachtal in 6th. Bellman here into the inside, fends well against the Italian, who tries to go for the cutback, but can't happen, and the Ferrari will stay behind. Meanwhile, Eck is going to attack Dyer on the outside, as the Lime Mustang keeps the 2nd place for themselves. Meanwhile, Vella still here to the outside. Oh, slightly difference in braking, but the Air 8 remains where it is in 10th place. As I speak, they here, clean road ahead, completely different behind, since you can see Eck could make a move into Ascari with the paddles slowing down the 2nd place holder. Into the inside remains, while Eck follows, and this is just giving Keenan the chance to get back at the top, well, rather 2nd and 3rd, since Nopek is 13 seconds ahead. Now it's completely gone, the number 48. And it's going to be side by side again, but this time into Parabolica, with Eck still on the outside, with Dyer still on the inside, as the Lime and Black Mustang keeps the position. But I think this could be the time where it switches, it changes, it transforms into something different. With number 14 still there, and now it's a challenge who breaks later, and it's going to be both, since you can see Eck throws Dyer into the outside, and Eck also loses not 1 but 2 places, and Keenan is now in 3rd with Alfano following in 4th. That was extremely ambitious by Eck, and here it is another side by side, this time with the number 19 getting pressurized by Karner and Raes. Villa at least maintaining the place on the Raes in the 97, and Mikos takes the place on the number 97 Aston Martin. So Vella is not really having a good race in these damp conditions. The rain is still falling. So my prediction was actually very optimistic. It's still raining, and I think it will end sometime eventually. Meanwhile, Porsche is, I think, with dry tires, as the 31 is showing yellow flags just in front of the leader of the race, which is here, having a good time. Dyer finally has some clean air behind, although that gap is rapidly shrinking. Alfano follows. Eck will have to make it with slightly heated tires, and Velman is still discussing the bureaucracy with Lando Mesa for 9th place. Oh, very good drift there, but it's quite clear that the rain tires are starting to give up with not so much rain falling. We are at the least amount of rain we will see for the entire evening, and this time has to be some laps until it stops raining. Although I've been saying it will stop raining for the last 10 minutes. I think I Oh wait, it stopped raining. So for once I was correct. Well, a broken watch will be correct twice a day. But this time I called it. Anyway, Vela on the outside, on Kanner, on 12th place. There is a slight contact. Nearly a chain reaction between Kanner and Mikos, but Vela is now in 11th. Meanwhile, here Vedman is now in 9.5 position, since he's side by side with Randomez in 9th, but I think it will remain like this, and the number 89 will stay in 9th place. Meanwhile, here Jordan is discussing the matter with Zagdal in 6th place. After discussing heavily with Hill for position, and now the next target is the Swedish driver in the 331, who, remember, put the car where it is practically on the last second of the qualifying session, and prior to that moment he was literally last without a valid lap time. The HSR Esport Bentley is there, trying to gain places, and this could be the time where it shines, because the Bentley is very good on grip and it's very good especially in these transitioning moments compared to, say, an Audi R8, which is quite, I would say, nervous. As the number 221 is... Oh, Velman is into the inside. So probably Randomesa made a mistake there. Oh, they chose to go into the pits. And same goes for, you can see, Vela behind in 15th now. Scarby is now here, but I saw a mistake happening here. Oh, there was a jump there! Going sideways. Then in the middle of the road. Back in live. We can have a look at this, because Karner is in 10th place, still maintaining the lead on this little group. Although Mikos is not a silver driver, so he is very keen on making the pass as quickly as possible. With or without contact, I suppose. Still a dump track. Personally, I would have thought that the rain would have lasted way less than 25 minutes. As Eck is back in business, but this time against Alfano and not Dyer, with that mistake on braking. With Alfano choosing to jump the gun and going to the pits. Meanwhile, Besselink. Oh wait, there is a switch for there was a switch into the lead in silver class, with Rice gaining the lead in silver class. Apologies, I actually missed it. As is, oh, there is a huge moment there between Karner and Mikos, and this just gave the position on Besselink on two cars, and there was a lot of physical contact between the two Ferraris, with Karner passing from lead to third in class in a span of seconds. And also there was a bit of an aggressive movement from Mikos, who is now in 12th place. Putting Karner back in 11th, but still in third in class. And I think Besselink lost a tiny bit of time there. I would like to see here, because this is usually the best metric I can get from a optical view. This is the better one, obviously, because from the helicam you can see better where the dry lines are forming, if they are forming, which is quite easy to follow here. But from this camera you can see exactly how much track actually how much wetness there is on the racetrack. And I wouldn't be shocked if someone tried something different, as Benjamin Eck just did, because obviously the safest road is to go on a safe point, saying when the track becomes greasy, but jumping the gun is also a good tactic. It depends on the sensations, as I said. You can't really objectify the moment on when to pit. Oh, that was... I think it was moving on the braking. Oh, that was... I'm quite sure that was moving on the braking for Mikos. I would like to see it again. From camera standpoint. Oh, yeah. I really think that was moving on the braking. That was definitely a no-no. It was definitely a no-no. In fact, as a matter of fact, the Canner is now ahead again of Mikos, but it was way too dangerous. It hasn't been the first time I saw this Ferrari going for moves, to say it loosely. Skinan also goes into the pits. Stuck as the track remains damp. It's very cold as a racetrack. 15 degrees the air temperature, 20 the track temperature. So it will take us a bit of time to get dry. And in these conditions, the wet tire is not really having a good time, but a good reference point is to finally look at who made the switch with the dry tires, because Alfano is about to complete his lap time. Same goes to Eck. Also, Eck just extended the pits, apologies. Those will be the metrics as half the silver field went into the pits too. So Lando Mesa made a 53.0, 52.6 best lap. So yeah, I think someone made a good choice. 2.5. It's basically on the same page as the drivers on the wet tires, except Nopek, still in the 51s. But for example, Dyer is on a 52.5 and Alfano with dry tires is on a 52.5. It's pretty much the same. But in all of these, you can see the difference is that Eck jumped everyone in the pits by pitting earlier. Pitting, apologies, not earlier. Pitting slightly later. As Eck was behind Alfano. So probably they jumped the gun slightly too early. And perhaps the best placed car was Eck. a bit of a mix between strategy, experience, and a tiny bit of luck too. So number 19. Ooh, Vella is off! Into the wall! As the Italian with dry tires, you can see from the Pirelli badge. Oh, he just lost the rear and didn't go into the wall. But certainly he's not having a good race so far. As Dyer lost an enormous amount of time and places because of the pit stop strategies. So he was in second place and now he's risking to be out of... oh, he's already out of the podium. He's battling with Alfano for 4th place. As Jordan behind. He's closing in. Snopek goes into the pits. But yeah, quite a difference there. In terms of pit stops, they were all the same, so it was a timing moment rather than anything else. We now back in second place. Keenan in 3rd, Diane in 4th, and Alfano in 5th, with Jordan in 6th. Although Zagdal and Hill still have to make their pits, so I'm not really sure on them. Kapek goes back on the racetrack without any particular argument. He has an entire... he could literally go for a drive-through and still be ahead with his rhythm. Azek put together a 50.7. Same goes for Keenan behind with a 50.7. Zakdal in the 51 gets jumped by both Diane and Alfano, but remains in front of Jordan. And Hill exits in 8th place. .18 seconds is the gap between Nopek and Eck, with Keenan following. Dyer now only 4th. Stefano in 5th, unfortunately. Speaking of Gladius competition, the number 19 is only 17th. Santore here is now battling with a leader in silver class with the Kenya face as the Belgian driver in number 97 is defending against Giusto Senatore. As now the times ahead are settling for the 50 with a 50.0, 50.0, 50.0, 49.6 for Dyer, 50.3, 50.5. Jordan with a 53.9, so clearly a mistake happened here, 51.0. So now Dyer is the quickest car on track, as also Velman is battling with Relano Mesa. With the Ferrari number 89 remaining in 9th place. As the Spanish driver tries to stay in 9th, as you can see here, huge dive into the inside for the Audi over the curb. But no difference in the order of the cars. There's like a difference here where I thought... Oh yeah, it is kind of going extremely wide. Now the times are getting lower and lower, 49.5, 49.3.2, and then a 48.8 for Dyer, then Alfano 50.0, 49.6, 50.2, 50.3, and I think it's going to be another 51 for Relano Mesa and Velman were both battling for position, so they are outliers in these. So yeah, the most interesting car remains the number 14 here, quickest pace of all the cars. It won't be enough to get into Nopex place. There was an overtake for position between two different cars, you can see there. Both Besselink made the place and Senatore on rise. So now Reyes lost his buffer zone to the chasing cars. So now Besselink is in second place. As Alfano made a mistake, clearly, because Alfano lost a ton of seconds, so something happened here. Oh, that's nearly the wall for Alfano, who managed to stay afloat. And also Jordan behind, you can see there, going extremely wide. And now Hill is on its side. Going to be side by side into turn 1, but Bentley has a better speed, but McLaren is just better in every other aspect. As you can see, Hill hard on the brakes, as it's going to be side by side with the two, and Hill remains with his. Meanwhile, Dyer goes on inside with a power move and completely obliterates Keenan, so clearly a better exit for the number 14, although I think there is an answer from Keenan into this move 1, although never mind, because Keenan clearly braked even before getting there, as Hill cuts the chicane and gives back the position on Jordan. And here there is a little contact between Renato Mesa and Veldman, with the number 89 keeping the place on the Audi. Still in the top 10, but still in contention for 9th with the Spanish driver. Dyer's next objective is clearly Benjamin Eck, who in the last lap set a 48.7 compared to Dyer's 48.6, so a 10th is not a lot of time gained, especially when there are 3.5 seconds of gap between the two. With 17 minutes to go and the grip I won't say non-existent, but certainly not optimal. As well, still is trying to get a position down on the Spanish driver in the Ferrari. As finally there is a switch of positions between the two, and Veldman on the inside he goes, he takes the place. Number 9. Well, the battle for the lead in silver class! Woo! That was extremely close. You can see from here. Nearly a strike. Dyer is now. I was just looking at this control. Besseling just lost a few places because of the mistake on Dascari, which just promoted Conway in 14th. He's also 3rd in class, and Mikos is in direct proximity of another position there. Bit of aggressiveness, but that's Mikos in 15th now, putting Besselink in 16th. Now Vella is at this point taking anything available, and if it is a position on Besselink, it could become a position on Mikos. Stress is now in direct opposition with Senatore in 11th. But I'm also looking ahead because Dyer is still far. 2.8 seconds for 7 point. Every single lap is an improvement, but it's not as quick as Dyer hoped. Maybe because there are still 2.8 seconds and 13 minutes to go. And my race control is literally green and one purple. It's a very odd thing to see. Everybody made in this very lap until 15th place their personal best. 47.4, 0.5, 0.3, and on 8.0, 7.5, 8.7, 8.3, 8.5, 8.4, 9.3, next etc. Using OPEC miles ahead. No, I use miles instead of kilometers. I'm becoming American. Oh no. Anyway, I'm rapidly losing my mind. Dyer made another fastest lap of the race. It's practically becoming Max Verstappen with his rhythm. By setting a fastest lap every single lap. This time it was a 46.8 and nearly a second gained on Eck. So clearly a mistake made by the Swedish. As the battle for first still goes on after the effective elimination of Besselink from this, it's Cannon against Rice. Conway looking from the distance. As the track surface is now optimum, all of a sudden. And I think even this bit will be completely different in Assetto Corsa, because they said that also there is localized rain, which is something that should be mandatory in a racing game by this point, because come on, we are in 2024, can we stop with that? We can do it. I think you can, you just don't want to. And also it will change with the wind. So finally the wind has a meaning. It's not just a funny number to move the flags. So I'm really excited for that. I want every single race to be made on rain on the new Assetto Corsa. As a rain enthusiast. And also it will be procedural rain. So the rain that goes on the tarmac slash floor is effective, and it flows with the altitude of the racetrack and with the holes, with the bumps and etc. It's just it changes with the behavior of everything. It's just it's not a single line that forms just as in here. Pre-made one. It gets created by the drivers, which is a good thing. And I think we may have the competition for iRacing, which is a good thing, because I don't want to pay my the money I need to eat. Okay, I should stop. Marco Bella still here, trying to make the position on Mikos for 15th place. But yeah, ending the course of action, I think the new Assetto Corsa will be a huge name if everything they promised actually becomes true. Because I think it will be fun to have a sort of mix between Gran Turismo and iRacing. So, a good game, in short. With cars made in the last decade and an affordable price. I can hear the lawyers get into my house from Sony. Anyway, Bella now here in 15th place, just ahead of Mikos in 16th with a very good move from the outside. Although I think this will be the last overtake for Bella. Because 5 seconds away there is Conway and the time clearly says it's 7 minutes. Everybody has to go home. Oh! And Mikos completely misses the braking point, nearly doing a complete disaster. Look at this, completely missing the braking point, throwing himself onto the grass. That was close. Just ahead, because I never said it would have been the last overtake of the evening, because Dyer made it with a lot of effort and consistency in setting literally purple laps every single lap. But he's not here. It also helps that in the last lap Eck made a massive mistake losing 1.2 seconds, but now Dyer is 7 times away from Eck. So it's good that Eck's setup was great in the wet, but probably there is something wrong for the dry setting. Or perhaps it just is pure ability in the dry and the wet. Oh, the nearly on the grass there. As Dyer is using everything in 5 minutes, 6 minutes, so roughly I think we have 4 laps. Yeah, 4 laps. Till the end. Definitely 4 laps, yes. So we've got 2 podium positions still in contention. We've got the one for 2nd place overall, and the one for 1st place in silver class. The Staple 5 is going slowly on track. Huh? Oh wait, that's Hill. What happened? Oh, even for him, he just lost the rear completely and also collided with the wall. With now Velman very close to him. As the number 29, you can see quite clearly in danger is David Hill. But we'll stay here, because it's the battle for 2nd overall. Even though I think the battle for 1st in class in silver may happen earlier, as there was a 6 times gap between Rice and Karner getting fulfilled here. As you can see there, already the Porsche is trying to put pressure on the Aston Martin, clearly having less speed in the dry. Okay. Apologies, but I just disconnected my headset. Anyway, last lap it was a 48.1 for Rice. It was a 47.5 for Kanner. And for once, Dyer didn't put... Oh! It's a second one in a row, but unfortunately, I think this one was even worse than the first one. You can see here... Oh yeah, again, but it's... Oh! This time it was... I think it's game over for Hill. That's tremendous. 3 minutes away from the finish of... from the end of the race. He just put the car at 150 probably kilometers per hour into the wall. Yeah, this is not having a good look. I think the front suspension is still attached to the outside wall in Ascari. And I think if he manages to get somewhere around the top 15 is going to be great, not gonna lie. Anyway, Reyes here in 12th place in the lead of his own class as the battle is on between Kanner and Reyes. For now, Kanner remains behind, even though I think this is just this could be a temporary situation. As I also have Dyer here. Oh, he goes for the move on the inside into turn 1. Oh, little contact there with Eck. This has to be quick because this could be the last lap. This could very well be the last lap, as there is a McLaren into the grass. As there is the overtake here between the two in silver class with a Porsche going first on the inside. They aren't covering the inside as well as early as possible, putting the Porsche in an odd spot where the only outside was then available. Eck still here defending as hard as possible against Dyer, as that's for second place overall. I'm going to go up and down in the leaderboard. You can see here the Porsche on the outside with us on the inside. There's little contact between the two, and I think the 107 cast the chicane in a stable way. Oh, into the wall he goes! And the 107 with Fabian Karner in 13th place, which becomes now 14th as Conway gets into second place in class, effectively gifting Rice the win in his own class. Meanwhile here Dyer is still battling with Benjamin Eck, as Nopek goes on for another lap, giving Dyer the chance to make the place. This is the worst possible thing for Eck. I really think he wanted Nopek to just sit on the line for 10 seconds and calling it a day. So now there is another chance for Dyer, although this time around he is very far away, as Hill loses another place, this time on Rice. So Hill now is in 12th place. But this is the last lap, so there won't be another chance into turn 1, there won't be another chance into turn 2. Maybe there's a chance here! Oh! Late as possible! And Dyer goes off! Out, cutting the chicane, and he has to give back the place, but that was extremely late and close at the same time. Look at this, he was going on outside, faking the move and transforming the move from the outside into the inside, but it was way too late, and he ended up going extremely wide on entry, cutting the chicane and effectively giving back the place on his opponent. Meanwhile here you can see Carner again cutting the chicane. This time it was against the BMW of Conway in the 137. And Vella is now in 12th place. All of a sudden, as Thomas Nopek wins the Monza round with a 20-second gap on Eck. Which I think will end the race in second place just in front of Dyer, who practically threw the car into the chicane and hoped for the best. Kieran goes on to take the 4th place with Zaktar behind in 5th, Alfan in 6th. With Jordan 7 seconds behind in number 22 after a good fight with Hill, which is now in 23rd place. So things went very bad very quickly. Velman now in 8th place. With Elano Mesa in 9th. Senatore completes the top 10. Rice in 11th. Winning in silver class is Kenneth Fries in number 97 with Vela in 12th place, Karner in 2nd and Conway in 3rd in class, and Garbi, Mikos, Besselink and then Curtin. But I want to see this back. I really want to see this back. Because look at... oh wait, it's way too late this time around. I would like to see that again because that was a bit close. Look at this. So clearly, Kanner wants to make the move. Goes on inside. There isn't much space available. Breaks as late as possible. And then cuts the chicane. But at the same time, keeps the place. So it's going to be a question mark on the place. On the placement for Karner and Conway. But in the meantime, we have our 2 winners with Nopek in overall class and Rice in silver class. Anyway, next time it's going to be Bathurst for 90 minutes in November 29th. And then Kailami, Imola and Spa completing the championship. Until then, I am Chris Romano and I will see you all next Thursday. In the meantime, have a good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. And see you next time. Bye.